Okay, hi guys. This lesson is going to be about color and the way that we can apply it to paper to make it a little more rich, a little more interesting. So as an example piece, this is just a little tiny example. It's an object which has a lot of complexity to the color, and I'll show you a little bit about how we're going to go about maybe incorporating that into our work. So basically, let's take a look at like a cross section of the paper surface is kind of like this. It's kind of irregular, and it has raised areas and areas that sink down below. It has a little bit of a tooth to it, right? Can you guys see that pretty good in the image? There we go. Okay. So if I apply the color from the pastels, and this works for other media as well, but I'm just going to use pastels as my example. But this is sort of like an underlayer. So if I push that down into those little areas that sit below, and that could be smoother if I really worked it. Use a blending stump maybe. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing the blue color down into these little ridges, so it actually sits below the surface as well as on top. But by pushing it down below, then I can layer another color on top, and the blue is going to show through, because what happens is the green's just sitting up here on these raised areas of the paper, the toothy areas that sit up higher. And so you get this richness to the blue-green. So what you'll notice a lot of artists will do is, rather than going for the final color that they're going for immediately, they will put down an underlayer of some other color or some other tone, and then build it up through layering to get to the final color that they're going for in the final piece. And so you end up with a lot more richness, a lot more interest within the color itself. Okay, so that's the lesson for today in terms of complexifying your color. And you can use that, again, like I said, with watercolors. It works well. If you lay down a wash of watercolor, you'll get it to sink down into the paper, and then use a dry brush technique over top. You'll get a similar effect to this. Oil painters will put down an underlayer that is usually diluted a little bit, and so that sinks down into the fibers of the canvas. The canvas is going to have fibers that kind of interlock, and if you can get the color to sit down below, and then take a stiffer oil paint and run it over the top, you'll end up with these areas of color that interact with a background layer and then a foreground layer that sits on top. And that's a really neat way to get your color to be a little more exciting. So, all right, we'll talk to you again soon.